It's time.
Welcome. Welcome to Sunday Satsang. Welcome, Vasilina, Raju, Enrique, and all of the others. Everyone is welcome here except Ian, but I tolerate his presence. Stevie's has proved today that his one screw is loose permanently. I love you all. I miss you all. Think of you all every day. Today, so much so the last few days, I've been realizing that my teaching, that awakening is a twofold, two-stage occurrence. It's really true. In one stage, you wake up to the I am inside of you, the life force, the sentience, the ability to hear, see, feel, to think. The watcher, the observer, who watches the mind. And with the recognition of that I am sense within, you can begin doing real work. You can begin to feel yourself, recognize yourself at every moment during every experience, that you, the I amness, the life force, is there. In a sense, you are the source of the universe. You are observing the universe through that one body, Vasilina. You are observing the whole universe around you, everywhere. You can see into space 1,000,000 light years, and you are there in consciousness. The entirety of the universe is witnessed by you if you have the instruments to witness it. Microscopes, telescopes, radios. In this way is what sages say. You are the universe. You are the Brahman state. The entirety of the manifest world. Don't worry about other people's manifest world. Just always focus on yourself. Don't worry about what they see or they feel. Just be aware there's only one person in your world, and that's you. You may have feelings towards others, but that's irrelevant to the process that you own the world in a sense, because it's created by your senses. It's watched by your judgment, your wisdom or lack of it. Creates a world around you which may be malformed or diseased or broken somehow, because your I am is perceiving through an impaired instrument. And there's another awakening, which Nisargadatta says happens second. just to see or understand or observe that you are not this I amness. You, the witness, observe the I amness. And you observe the I amness observing the world. You, the witness, are in a different dimension, different reality, where the characteristics of existence do not exist. Space and time do not exist. Colors don't exist. Objects don't exist. You're beyond existence, unmanifest. And yet you manifest yourself in this world through the workings of I am, the beingness. For me, I did not realize this beingness existed until 2010. Prior to that, I had looked for the I am inside of myself, inside of my essence, inside of my feeling. And I actually manufactured an artificial self, a thought form, which has nothing to do with the beingness. And I realize now that finding the I am is a big deal. Because that I am, your essence, is also God. God flows out of that I am as an enormous experience of light, power, love, energy. And when you're experiencing it, you can't believe that this experience is you, because it's far more powerful than anything you've ever felt. So how can it be you? You're used to being puny, able to do nothing. But the power that's revealed to you is immeasurably powerful. The brightness of the light is as bright as 100 or 1,000 suns, and white light, maybe with some blue in it, or maybe a blue pearl, a la Muktananda and Mary. And that I am becomes the focus of your life. Ramana said that too. He could never take his eyes off of it, his attention off of the I am after that explosion. Then one day, after that I am burns inside of one for a long period of time, there comes a time when you encounter several samadhis where you, the I am, go into you, the I am, and disappear. Subject subsides into the subject, no longer manifesting in the world. And there's utter silence and peace. This is the absolute, that which witnesses the I am experience and all the activities of life in the world around you. So there's existence on two levels, the I am and the absolute. And the world is a reflection, an impingement on your consciousness, the essence of which is the I am experience. Nothing can be simpler than that or clearer than that in spirituality. Almost everything in spirituality, including what I'm saying here, is for entertainment's purposes. It's a story that Nityananda tells, but which is so Nisargadatta tells, but is so powerful that it can utterly change your life by taking you out of the mundane world and drenching you in God. And when you become dried of being drenched in God, as you lay dying, you can realize yourself as the absolute and welcome death with open arms, because you're going to return to your original source. The existent one, the I am, is going to enter into the absolute and dissolve. It's a story, but it's a story of salvation for those who are lost and confused, lonely and unloved, because they offer the ability to find God within oneself, and at the same time, self-abstentions of life itself, the life force. And then when one is old and gray, and you've lived your life fully, filled with love of the self, love of others, love of the world, and everything in it, the I am disappears, goes into nothingness but great happiness. This is the double salvation that Nisargadatta offers, and it's such a powerful, powerful, powerful truth. I read it now and it blows my mind still, reveals treasures that have been hidden. I've been reading Nisargadatta since probably 1986, 44 years. I'm pretty stupid. I don't catch on very quickly. Today we're going to have something special. We're having a tryout for the position I used to do with Robert, which is to read from the Ashtavakra Gita or some other reading. I surprised Jay by saying, "Do you accept the task of reading 4 paragraphs from a book by Nisargadatta?" And he says he's ready, willing, and able. And I like Jay because, as you heard yesterday, when he goes on and on and on, he does it with great energy and with deep inflections in his voice, as if he actually understood what he was talking about. A lot of you read, and you read like a dead man in a drone, never raising or lowering the pitch of your voice, not realizing what is being said by Maharaj. Now from the book, The Nectar of Immortality, which is done by Robert Powell, on page 154, begins 4 paragraphs. Go ahead. Make my day, Jay.
Prior to the waking state, I, or the absolute, ever is. On waking, it dawns upon me that I am. And only after that, all other happenings and things come to mind. Again, I, the absolute, must be before the waking state. Stay put here, abide therein. You have to stabilize in your present true nature, I am. All other secondary and redundant objects should be got rid of. Do not focus your attention on any of these things. The whole process is to be in your source. At present, what is your source? I am. Catch hold of that I amness and be in it. You have to realize your own self. You must be at the borderline between I am and not I am. Suppose it does not occur to you that you are. Does it mean that you are not? If that I amness is not there, you, the absolute, are. As such, you prevail prior to, during, and after the waking state. During the waking state, the sense of your I amness perceives the world. And from the standpoint of you, the absolute, there is witnessing of your I amness and its perceptions. Visitor, I want to do something spiritual. Maharaj, do you want self-knowledge or not? You want to do something spiritual, but you must be there for doing something. You must know you. Who is the doer of spirituality? I am is the doer. When you are involved in daily activities in the house, street, and office, who is the common factor? It is your I amness. This I amness of yours is doing everything. Suppose from the morning till night, I have been doing a lot of things. What is the sum total of my activities? All these many activities took place in my state of beingness. In deep sleep, I am went into oblivion. It forgot itself. Then what is the use of everything that was done? Beingness is not an eternal state. It is a temporary phase, a passing show. Consciousness is the product of the 5 elements and their interactions. The result of the 5 elements is temporary and time-bound. Your knowingness and all that you accumulate always comes subsequent to your beingness. You can know something only when the knowingness knows it is. Your fall occurs when you try to identify something within the sphere of consciousness as yourself. Your consciousness manifests the world. When you try to equate the body with yourself, the fall begins. Visitor, who thinks I am the consciousness? Maharaj, you. Without beingness, there is no thinking. Beingness is a basic precondition for thinking or not thinking. Suppose you have pain in the body. Who witnesses that pain? Your beingness only witnesses it. In the absence of beingness, how can there be witnessing at all? The real witness is the eternal self only. So long as beingness is there, you are the beingness. When the beingness is not, you are the absolute. Everybody that comes here has to go. Similarly, the beingness which has come must go.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And you're going to develop that talent deeper and deeper.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you for letting me do that. That was a joy. And my I am just quelled in Jewish. I don't know. My Jewish isn't good except for Kanishas and Kanadalas and some Rudala. So I love you.
Well, more than well. You found your place. Let me see. I'm trying to get focused on this one guy. Now, I lived all my life until 2010, vaguely self-aware. Vaguely self-aware of my life force and my beingness. But because I had been in Zen from 1965 on, this beingness was covered by a very thick layer of emptiness. And beingness incubated there. And I was looking, at Musica was looking for that sense of beingness. And I couldn't find it, so I imagined it. I began searching around my heart, and I found a little buzz, which gradually grew into a sense of presence within and around my body. But that sense of presence still did not seem to have reality, a life of its own. But when I came into love in 2010, something happened. Because of the intensity of my love itself. I felt love throughout my whole body and around me, everywhere. I was love. And I rested and I was love. And it was fired by becoming aware when I heard her voice saying, I love you. And I let it in. I was loved by a woman who meant so much to me. And it cured that brokenness in me because I had felt unlovable till that point. With that occurring, becoming love, totally love, one day, the life force exploded out of me. And I've talked about that 100 times with such intensity and insistence, such brilliant, bright light, such rising power that I felt it coming, and it was so utterly powerful that I thought I should have been afraid, but I wasn't afraid. And the power passed through my heart and then exploded upwards. And I realized I was seeing God. There was no other word for it. I worshiped it. I knelt before it. I prostrated myself before it in my mind. And I loved it and worshiped it. And it was perfect. And I had visions of a God that I was worshiping, sort of as a stamp that I could see that acknowledged that my experience was of God. And then I saw, a short time afterwards, that I too, the incarnated human, was made of the same material as was God, which was light, energy, power, intention, sentience. And this was God. Then other days rolled by when God manifested grace and washed away all my faults, all my sins, all my feelings of insufficiency, all my humiliations were all washed clean by this golden light of grace. And I felt even more the depth of gratitude I had for that power within me, the I amness, which manifested itself as God inside of me and as me, the individual. I was what I worshiped. And I'm not really looking forward to losing this in order to go to the absolute. I'll tell you, in the mornings, not every morning, but some special mornings, I feel the I amness so intensely as a burning, almost with heat, but not heat. There's an intensity about the I amness. I feel so much power going through me. I feel like I could do anything, but I recognize it's just the coattails of God I feel. As a body, I really can't accomplish much. I have certain limited siddhas, abilities to do something with this energy. But it's not me. The energy is not me. Now, the burning goes on for days at a time. And it seems like it'll burn away all of my faults, all of my doubts, all of the so-called vasanas, habits. And from where I am, the mind is like gases inside, noxious gases, farts, to be ignored. I'll read one more paragraph, page 159. This is for Vesselina. Because you want to be, you occupy yourself with talking and all else. To sustain this you are, you carry out various activities. Thus you keep your mind busy. But to the realized one, the mind flow is like the release of obnoxious gases from below. The one who is stabilized in the self looks down upon this mind chattering as though it were dirty and unwanted, like those gases in the stomach. You pay so much heed to your mind, Vesselina, as if it were you. It's not you. So far as you are alive and awake, you are the I am, that energy within. You, Vesselina, are not the mind. You have nothing to do with the mind. You're just watching the mind. But you pay so much attention to it, you believe it. Think of it as a fart. It's nothing but farts, which you, and the pleasant ones you hang on to, and the other ones you feel repelled by. The mind is just producing dreams, daydreams all day long. Take them as seriously as you do your night dreams, which you easily forget. Except once in a while, there's a deep dream that lasts a long time. Vesselina, I want you to come to me. Come to the I amness state. Don't muck around in your mind function anymore. And what you want, what you think you should have, and what others think you should have. Forget the mind. The mind is your prison. The mind is your prison. The mind is not your friend. Your mind is not your friend. Your friend is to cling to a desire for love, and to feel love, which will reveal the I amness in you. Everything that doesn't supply love to you is of little value. The university certainly doesn't. But you may continue to go to the university just because you know it fits your future better than being a sales girl in some store in downtown Plata for Sofia. You've tried that. You don't like that. So now in the future, you can call yourself a phony doctor. Even if you understand nothing about medicine, at least you'll have that title and the world will bow down to you as an educated one, as a healer. And you can use that status to get things done for yourself and for others in the world.
I feel some like I feel like I am empowered. right now.
Stay out of your head. Stay in your heart. I love you all. I think about all of you. I want to find out where you're sticking and how to unstick you. And I can't do that unless I communicate with you. And those who want to communicate can. I'm here. You can email me anytime. Talk on Skype. Talk on this channel. Whatever. But I highly recommend to continue reading Nisargadatta, even though you don't understand what's being said. Read it over and over again. Now, I've noticed reading this book here that although he talks about having become the absolute, what he emphasizes over and over and over again is the I am. That unless you are, there's no world. You create that world by being alive. You, in a sense, don't put it together, but you are the center of your own world. The experiences are your own experiences. And the whole point is to find that I amness in yourself, that fire inside of yourself, that birth principle, that child principle of no knowledge that just feels for the first time. And feeling is more essential to discovering the I am than is observing. You can observe the I am all the time, but it's lifeless compared with feeling the I am. I am. And to me, the I am burns, burns, it burns. Sometimes it's so intense, it's hard to tolerate. So I know what Nisargadatta means when he says people get busy in activities because feeling the I amness inside of you can be quite painful. It burns. It's intense. You have to build up to it to be able to easily rest in the I am sensation. And the I am will teach you everything. You don't need a book. That's what he says over and over again. Just need to know your I amness. Watch it, feel it, explore it, your own inner nature. That can't be taken away from you except by death. Everything else passes. For a few years, you're a toddler, and then a 5-year-old, and you're in kindergarten. Soon you're graduating from grade school to middle school. And you change again. You're very emotional in middle school, I was. Then you go to high school and you meet the real world for the first time, and it's awful. And you go to college. Nobody gives a shit about you there, so that's easier. My world changed. My worldview changed. My worldview changed when my father died when I was 14. And I met the horror of death from really close up, seeing his body, not believing he was really dead. I couldn't believe it, despite the fact I saw his body. I would talk to him as if he were in the Bardo world. We talked to him, leading him through the Bardo world, because I had read Evans Wentz prior to that. I remember every day walking, delivering newspapers on my newspaper route, talking to my father, talking him through the states of the Bardo, which I don't even remember anymore. that person is gone. My life turned around when I met Robert, and he told me this tale that I was Brahman itself. And I led to the absolute, bypassing the I amness. Robert really didn't have a sense of I am inside of me, truly was absolute. So I had the secondary experience of going to the absolute before the experience of I amness. And the I amness experience blew me up. It's the day I was born, really. Mary, you got a mark on the calendar, the day that you had your awakening to the I am. When you first could announce that you are. That's your birthday. That's your real birthday. And make all of your students in the future, far future, honor you on your birthday, your real birthday. When God came into you and showed himself through you, and you saw that he was your companion every moment of your life. And he was there even when you were asleep and there was no I amness there. You're always being watched, protected by him. Such is the power of the I amness.